This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. It's even though it's starting to get a little cold outside, there's still a lot of things you can do outdoors, and that includes fishing. This morning we have Pat Rigby from the Missouri Department of Conservation here this morning to talk about more about winter trout fishing at Spur Pond in Kirksville. How are you doing?
Good.
Great. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the urban trout stocking program that you guys have.
The urban trout stocking program is an effort for the Conservation Department to release trout into some city lakes throughout the state. Kirksville Spur Pond has been the location for the release. It gives the people an opportunity to catch fish when normally bass and crappie and bluegill would be less active. The trout are a cold water fish. Okay. So in the cold water the cold temperatures, the trout become more active and are easier to catch than the warm water species. Okay, good. Because that was going to be my next question. If trout are more prominent in the wintertime, hence the winter trout fishing, correct? Right. Okay. So now before they're dumped, they're obviously stocked somewhere in Kirksville. And where is that? It is at Spur Pond. Okay. Spur Pond is located just north of the Northeast Regional Medical Center. Okay. And how big are the trout? So when I'm going to go, if I go fishing, how big am I going to expect them to be? The trout are typically 12 and 3/4 inches long and have a weight of about 3/4 of a pound. Okay. Some lunkers, a lunker is a fish that is broodstock, which weighs in excess of 4 pounds. So there are some of those floating around in Spur Pond as well. Oh, wow. All right. So, and can you go ahead and let us talk about some of the rules and regulations when it comes to catching this trout? November 1st through January 31st, it's catch and release only. It's flies and artificial lures, which include soft plastics, but nothing that has any kind of scent or taste to it. And then the change February 1st, people can start harvesting trout using any kind of approved bait. In order to harvest trout, you have to be in possession of a valid fishing license, as well as a trout stamp or a trout license. People aged 16 to 64 are required to have both pieces of licensing while they're fishing for trout. Okay. And is there a limit to that? How many you can catch? There's a daily limit of 4 fish per day. Okay. Now talk about a little bit more about this catch and release. Why is it from November 1st through the 31st? It's only catch and release. Correct. Again, it just gives people the opportunity to catch fish. Again, while the bass and the crappie and the bluegill are not as easy to catch. Also provides people something else to do outdoors. If they're not avid hunters, they can go catch some trout. Okay. And for people like myself, I mean, I've gone fishing before. My parents love fishing and stuff, but what does a trout look like compared to like the other fish that are in the pond? So how would I know that I caught a trout compared to another fish? Well, the rainbow trout are rainbow, so they have a distinctive color pattern on them with reds and blues and such. They are typically, wow, they're longer. Caught you off guard, didn't I? Describe a trout. They have a smaller mouth than obviously a bass would. Okay. Well, that's a difficult one. I've never been asked to describe a trout before. I guess I should just Google the picture, right? That's all right. That's all right. Actually, it wasn't one of the questions that I was supposed to ask you, so there you go. Just making sure you're awake this morning. I'm awake. So, well, thank you so much for your time. We're going to post all of this on our end on our website, heartlandconnection.com, and what we're also going to do is also link your guys' website with all the information about the winter trout fishing. That would be an excellent opportunity for people to check the regulations and make sure that they have the proper licensing before they go to harvest trout. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right.